You know, for the longest time, we thought of AI as this novelty, right? Something kind of futuristic, a little far off. Well, that is changing, and it is changing fast. We are right in the middle of this massive shift where AI is going from a cool feature to the actual fundamental infrastructure of our world. It's basically becoming the invisible plumbing that's going to reshape everything, from how we shop to how we stay safe.
And just like any massive construction project, this one has its battles. This quote, it's from the AI company Perplexity, and it gets right to the heart of the first major fight over this new infrastructure. It's a conflict that really shows you the high stakes and the totally competing visions for our AI-powered future.
So, on one side, you've got Amazon. They're accusing Perplexity's AI shopping agent of computer fraud. They're saying it bypasses their security, it hurts the customer experience, but then on the other side, Perplexity argues its agent is just an extension of you, the user, that it's acting under your direction to protect you from a bunch of ad-driven results. See, this isn't just about shopping, it's a fundamental clash over who gets to control your online experience, the platform or the agent that you choose to represent you.
And that's why this one little fight, it's a huge deal. It's a preview of what's coming as AI becomes the invisible layer connecting, well, everything. The rules for how these agents are going to interact with the big platforms are being written right now in real time. And trust me, the outcome is going to have huge implications for all of us.
So in this explainer, we're going to break it all down. We'll start with that battle between agents and platforms, then we'll dive into the legal mess of writing the rules for this new world. We're going to follow the money behind this trillion-dollar build-out, and then finally we'll see how this new infrastructure is already showing up in your life.
All right, first up, let's really dig into this battle for control. Because this isn't just about Amazon versus Perplexity. It's a struggle that's playing out everywhere, even inside the companies where we work.
And this is where a concept called shadow AI comes in. It's what happens when employees just start using AI tools on their own, totally outside of the company's official systems. You know, it might start off simple, like generating some marketing copy, but it can quickly spiral into this whole web of ungoverned, automated decisions. It's the same core tension, people wanting to be more efficient with new tools, clashing with the platform's need for control and security.
Okay, so platforms are writing their own rules, but what about the actual law? Right now, courts and regulators are in a flat-out race to build a legal framework for this entirely new kind of technology.
And at the heart of this whole legal debate is this old concept called fair use. The central question is pretty simple. Is an AI model that learns from copyrighted material transformative, creating something new? Or is it just fancy copying? The answer to that question is worth billions.
And this right here, this highlights a critical distinction that's shaping the future of AI. There was a recent ruling in a case against the AI company Anthropic, and it gave us a huge signpost. The judge suggested that the act of training an AI on copyrighted stuff could be considered transformative and therefore legal. But, and this is a huge but, keeping a permanent library of that material for the AI to access whenever it wants, that is not. This tiny difference between training and storing is now the cornerstone of the entire AI industry's legal strategy.
And this rule writing is happening on all fronts. I mean, we're seeing massive lawsuits from companies like Disney going after image generators. The UN is getting involved, looking at the risks of dual-use AI. That's tech that can be used for good and for bad. And to make it all even more complicated, a major study just found that a lot of the tests we use to even measure AI performance are totally flawed. It's chaotic, it's messy, but it's an absolutely essential process of building governance from the ground up.
Now, this kind of global infrastructure doesn't just build itself. It's being funded by one of the biggest floods of cash in history. So let's follow the money.
Just look at this number. In the first 9 months of 2023 alone, VCs poured almost $160 billion into AI startups. That's more than the entire previous year. The scale of investment is just staggering, and it shows you that the market believes this is not a fad, it's a full-blown revolution.
And this chart really puts that number into perspective. In a recent month, AI accounted for 38% of all startup funding. That is more than aerospace and defense combined. The money is just flooding into AI because investors see it as the foundational layer for future growth in basically every other sector.
And here is the most wild prediction of them all. Some analysts believe NVIDIA, the company making the essential chips for this whole revolution, could be worth $10 trillion by 2030. So why such a massive number? Because unlike the dot-com bubble, the GPUs they're selling aren't just sitting in a warehouse. They're being put to work immediately,
forming the very bedrock of this new industrial buildout.
So we have platform wars, we have legal battles, and we have trillions of dollars flying around. But what does any of this mean for you? Let's bring this down from the abstract and into your world, because this new infrastructure, it's already here.
Take Google's Gemini for Home, which is bringing AI to your Nest cameras. The promise is incredible, useful, specific alerts like, hey, there are 2 chickens in your yard. But the reality, at least according to reviews, is that its daily summaries are often just wrong. The AI can get, and I'm quoting here, surprisingly editorial, making up events or even misidentifying a shotgun as a garden tool. Yeah.
Now, you might hear 80% accuracy and think, hey, that sounds pretty good. But that means there's a 20% inaccuracy rate. When we're talking about the safety and security of your home, being confidently wrong 1 out of every 5 times is a huge problem. It just shows you how quickly our trust in this new infrastructure can break down if it's not reliable. And this technology is expanding into every single corner of our lives. Cities like Dublin are building digital twins to manage traffic. New healthcare platforms are personalizing preventative medicine with your data. AI is helping monitor deforestation in the Amazon, even as it creates new headaches with cheating in schools. And in the workplace, it's helping security teams resolve threats 30% faster. This build-out is happening everywhere, all at once.
Of course, the big question, the one everyone asks, is about jobs. And while the fear is real, the data, so far, is a little more nuanced. One major estimate suggests that with widespread adoption, about 7% of U.S. jobs would be displaced. But the vast majority, 93%, would either be reassigned or see their roles change and adapt with the new tools.
And this brings us to a really crucial point. The future of work isn't set in stone. As MIT economist Darren Acemoglu argues, it all comes down to a choice. We can build AI that's focused on automation that just replaces people, or we can build AI that's focused on augmentation, tools that make people better at their jobs, boosting creativity, productivity, and yeah, even wages. And that choice is being made right now in the very design of these new systems. So where does all this leave us? Well, we are smack in the middle of a messy, chaotic, and incredibly high-stakes construction project for the next era of technology.
And these are the key tensions that are shaping it all. It's that fight for control versus open access we saw with Amazon. It's the choice between automation and augmentation in our jobs. It's the constant push and pull between crazy fast innovation and the slow, careful process of governance. Each one of these conflicts is a decision point, a place where we are all, collectively, deciding what this new world is going to look like.
Which brings us to the final and most important question. This isn't just about code or capital. It's about power and priorities. As AI becomes the invisible infrastructure of our lives, shaping what we buy, how we work, and what we know, we have to ask, who is drawing the blueprints? Who gets to be the architect of our future?